to know that. You need to know that despite the fact that they didn't want us to have any contact or understanding with the religions that came out of Africa and the power that Islam had interacted with African cultures in Billy, Mali, Songhai, Timbuktu, and the University of Janet and the Ghanaian Empire. If they don't want us to know that, but you need to know what Elijah Muhammad came up and found out in spite of all of that. You need to know that. You need to know that Marcus Garvey came up out of the West Indies and understood that even though they say we are not brothers, we are brothers, and Africa ties us together to be one united people. You need to know that. 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 Relearning. You need to understand what is the nature of the genius of this black mind. How is it that we could go through an educational system that never told us anything about ourselves? I mean, how could we go up and learn Sigmund Freud and Abraham Maslow and Skinner and John Watson, schedules of reinforcement and instinctual levels of libidinal cathexis based upon the unconscious Oedipus complex and castration anxiety and penis envy, and understood all they told us about the hierarchy of needs from the Maslowian existentially humanistic point of view, and how the schedules of reinforcement of the Watsonian notion of a Skinnerian reinforcement schedule, how they could teach us all that, and we still come out here saying that the freedom of the black man is in knowing his African self and being able to restore the spiritual understanding that ties us to the African roots of civilization itself. How could they teach us that and we end up saying this? How could they teach Frances Welser all that good old European genetics and she look through the era and say, "You're talking about yourself, aren't you?" So that's what you're trying to tell us. You've got a genetic mutation. You're suffering from a problem. Now I get it. I got it now. How could we create a Cheikh Diop, who they tried to colonize in Senegal, made him parlez-vous français until he was sprechen Shinduch almost? That somehow feeling that you couldn't get educated until you went to France and went to the Sorbonne. Went to the Sorbonne, studied their anthropology, studied their linguistics, looked all the way through the European system and said, aha, I see. That's what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that all languages are rooted in the African language. So your paleontologists are trying to say then that there was no civilization until Africans began to establish civilization.